Dear sisters and brothers, so many things have come up in the gospel or in the celebration of the Passion of the Lord today. And they show us the beginning of the Holy Week. The first reading of today from the book of Prophet Isaiah chapter 50 shows us what God is among His own people. His compassion, His love, His forgiveness, His mercy. And the pens that were awaiting the Lord Jesus Christ as prophesied by Isaiah. And coming into the gospel, the Passion narrative, we just want to pick a few things and to reflect on. The very first thing I want to share with you, which you have heard, and I think you have also understood, is the action of Jesus when they all gathered for the meal. When they gathered for the meal, the Passover meal, which was a common thing among the Jews, and which they still celebrate, with a certain type of candle stand, having 8 positions to fix the candles. We notice that after taking the bread and blessing, he said, "This is my body," which you all know of and understand. Then he took the cup and also said, "This is my blood." Notice that the way that Matthew presents his own narration of the cup and the bread are different from what what Luke and Mark also present, and also with what we have in John's Gospel chapter 6. It was during that celebration that he said, "One of you is about to betray me." And they became very sad. They started asking him, one after the other, which means they took it in turn. The apostles started asking, "Is it I, Lord?" And they continued until when Jesus said, "The man who has dipped his hand into the dish with me will betray me." It would have been better if he had never been born. It was at that point Judas Iscariot said, "Surely not I, Lord." And you notice that Jesus did not run away from the reality. He didn't deny it. He said, "You have said so." In other words, you are the man. Or, yes, it is you. It is only in the Gospel of St. Matthew that we notice that the confrontation comes out very plainly when Jesus said, "Yes, you are the man." The others don't bring out that aspect. Matthew brings it out, that Jesus confirmed that Judas was the one who was to betray him. Remember, he was one of the apostles. Remember, he was a follower of Christ. Remember that Jesus also sent him out to go and preach. Remember that he shared in the meal, the last meal of Jesus. Because he said, "I will not drink of this wine again with you until I drink it anew in my Father's kingdom." So even inside the church, the Lord allows all of us to gather. Maybe the question we need to ask ourselves is, what really makes us to get into the church or to become Christians? The second point I want to share with you, still about Judas, is the one that Judas offered himself to betray Jesus or to hand him over. Remember, no one requested for his help. He went privately to the chief priests and he offered to aid them to track down Jesus. Yesterday, the chief priests, the scribes and the Pharisees had said, "Whoever knows the whereabouts of Jesus should inform them." In our own present day, the police will put a sum on the head of the person that is being sought for very seriously. And they would say, whoever gives information that leads to the discovery of this particular person will have such and such an amount. That of Judas, there was no pre-arrangement of giving him the 30 pieces of silver. It was when he offered himself. Maybe the question we can also ask ourselves is, do we offer ourselves to others to do harm to others? Like some young people who join the cause or join gangs. Maybe the question is, do I offer myself to join these groups in order to have the blood of somebody in my hands and to say, like the Jews, who said towards the end of the narration of today, "His blood be upon us, upon our families, and upon our children." Because when people are about to commit a crime, they don't think of any other thing. Nothing deters them. Nothing makes them even to remember the sense of humanity. And many of the troubles that face individuals, that face families, can also arise from such statements and such actions, even without words. And we ask, what prompted Judas to go and offer himself to betray Jesus? Remember that some people are fanatical with their ideas. And when they have a particular idea, they find it very difficult to change their minds. Judas must have been one of those who did not want to hear Jesus speak about his relationship with God. He was happy to see the miracles of Jesus. He was happy to hear his preaching, but never his relationship with God as the Son of God. He was happy to hear the parables of Jesus, but privately, he did not believe in Jesus as the Son of God. Since he did not believe, Jesus was a repugnant figure to him. Just as friends become repugnant to each other, even though physically they appear to be friends. It could also happen in a family. It could happen in the place of work. It could happen in the schools. It could happen even in the church. It could happen anywhere. It could happen among nations. These things are there. Judas handed over Jesus. He now treated Jesus as a material for destruction, not as Lord and God. Could it be that in our own individual lives, we also hand over God in exchange for what passes away? This is the week of great meditation. This is the week of great deepening of the faith. This is the week in which we have to descend from the head to the heart and move from the heart to the head and allow the Lord to be the head. This is the period in which AI is very important. A lot of things can be done with AI. And we thank God for having given such intelligence to human beings. But remember that the same AI that is so wonderful, that is so good, and you can use it to do anything, can also be dangerous. That is why we need a very deep faith. That is why we need a great relationship with Christ. Not the passing away type of relationship. We need an ingrained, deep, and open-minded relationship with Christ. Not the cautious one, in which we say, should I go? Shouldn't I go? Should I dip my feet or shouldn't I? No. That type of relationship will never be a Christian relationship. It will never make us to uphold our vow of baptism, which we denied Satan at infancy, at adolescent age, at adulthood, and at the point of passing away. The denial of Satan has to be total from the beginning to the end. Let us beg the Lord to grant us the grace to be up and doing, and may He never abandon us, now and forever.